Hello, everyone, once again. So far, we've been looking at some SQL queries, all right, in my SQL workbench, all right. Um, that whole process of querying the server, all right, entails two key processes, which is data manipulation, all right, or data definition. Okay. So far, what we've been doing so far in terms of performing updates, modification, displaying some sort of data, all right, is what we term as data manipulation. All right. Now we're doing all of this through the structured query language or the SQL language. Okay. And essentially, the statements that we need to pay attention to, just as I've demonstrated earlier, is to select the select statement, which is to query data in the database, the insert statement, which is to insert data into the table, to update data in a table using the update statement, and then to delete data from a table, right, using the delete statement. All right. Now, we, of course, so far have also had, we've had some experience inserting some data, right? And you can see that we put in some columns, or if we look at what we've done so far, if you look here, you can see that the values we are putting in are in inverted within inverted commas, right? Now, these are what we call literals. Okay. Now, the in MySQL, whenever we enter data, all right, everything else, okay, is in inverted commas, all right, unless you are dealing with actual numerical values or integers, okay. So you can see here that everything here is in inverted commas, and then the values themselves are not in inverted commas. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind. Okay, right. Now, when we are looking at simple queries, okay, the main statement we'll be using is the select statement. All right, and essentially we use that to retrieve and display data from one or more database tables. Okay, in terms of what it entails, okay, this is its general form. All right, try not to understand what is. Don't worry about the fact that it looks complicated. All right, just focus on these elements. So you can see that we have a select, starts with a select. All right, then we have the from, right? Then we have a where condition, group by, and then order by, right? Where we have something in square bracket here in our formulation, it means that it is optional. All right, we do not need to specify it. Okay. Um, oops, one sec. Yeah, we do not need to specify it. So we can see here that the from table is not in square brackets. So we do need to specify that, right? If we need to specify some sort of alias for the table, right? That is also optional. Okay. Now here we can see that we have select. So select is mandatory. Okay. Now we have here you can select two options, right? We have distinct, or you can state all. All right. These are two options that you can have. They're distinct, or you can state all. All right. And then here you can also put in these values. You have these options to put in. Okay, so you have, so these are still mandatory. So you either choose to put star, which represents all the columns, or you list out the columns that you want to extract. Okay, so as an example, right, you can see here that of course we want to select these respective columns, the rows for these respective columns from the staff table. All right. So why does this keep coming up? Right. So yes. So we can then um, write it in this form. Select. Then we list out the columns. All right. From the staff table where we are. If we're talking about a staff table. All right. Now, of course, we can see that we are writing it in this way, but the way this is processed, all right, is still top down. All right, so you go from from the staff table, right? Then you go to then a number of rows are selected based on that. Okay, so here you can see that this is the full sequence of processing, right? where a specific table, right? You specify a table, right? Um, where, right? And then where is where you specify a given condition, right? Kind of filtering the rows to be selected. Okay, so where, then you have group by, having, right? And then you have your select. And once those rows have been selected, right, you can then order. Okay, it can be sorted. So using the order by statement, order by. Okay, this is just, of course, generally we'll get to see some examples of this. All right. Now, so far, by now, I would expect that you would have installed the Sakila database, which allows you to practice with it. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a new uh, tab here, and then I'm going to select my Sakila database. Okay. So if I just do Sakila, all right, here. And assuming from our exercise there, right, our exercise asks us to list all the details for all films, all right, list all the details for all films, all right. Now, of course, we do need some sort of insight from the Sakila database, so we can use the show, all right, to see uh, what it entails, okay. Oh, sorry, actually, right. And then we just do, right, if we do this, no, sorry, it's because I didn't run this, right? So if I do use Sakila and then I do show tables, right, it will tell us to show us all the tables that exist over here, right? So we can see that we have a certain film table in here, all right? And so if we want to see all a list of all the films, right? We can then use select star, all right? Then we specify what table we want it to come from. We say film, all right? And then we do control enter, all right? And once we do that, all right, it should give us all the films. So as you can see there, it's giving us what? All the films and all the what? The columns being shown, all right? Now, assuming we want to, of course, select specific titles, all right? So we can see, we can just amend this, all right? We can just copy that and paste it here. And then now I'm just going to put in specific columns. Okay, so title, let's say release year. Okay, let's say release year. I hope I spelled that right. Release year. And then we can say maybe length. Okay, all right. All right, so but now if I just do control enter, right, that should give us just those films. All right, okay. Now, this is just to kind of demonstrate how the select statement works, okay, with simple queries, all right? Now, of course, this by doing that, okay, we've produced details of all the films, right? Um, but we can also, assuming that we have some repetitions, right, in the data, okay? And we sort of, we want to see only unique values, right? We don't want to list out like everything, including repetitions, right? So this is where we can then include one of the options that we spoke of, right? Select distinct, okay, right? If we choose select distinct, we can then select those distinct values. So for our example here, we have list a set of different ratings, right, available in the films table. All right. So again, what we can do is we can say first, right, show tables again. All right. I'm just going to do that again just to give us, right, and then if I do show tables again, right, and we go through it, okay, obviously we do not have, but then if we examine our film table, all right, we can see that we have rating. All right. Um, you can see that we have rating, the rating column here. All right. So which means that we would have to be working with a different, would have to be working with a different rating. Okay. Now to do that, okay, we just do select distinct. All right. All right, select distinct, right? Then remember, instead of putting the star, okay, we specify what column we want, okay? Um, and we, of course, we can just move on to the next line here from film, all right, right? And then we can just do control enter, all right, and then it gives us all the different ratings, all right, that exists within the table, okay? So let's just say yeah, so this would only give us the different ratings that exist within the entire films table without giving us any repetitions, all right? So let's try this ourselves and see that we can replicate the same thing that we've seen here.